and I'm walking around a place called Egerton, which is in Kent. And today I'm going to be talking about my top tips for walking in the winter. And it is mid-January, it's pretty cold today, about 3 degrees. So I hope these tips help you for when you go out walking in the winter time. My top tip would be to make sure that you're wearing the right clothing. I think this can be like a make or break in the winter if you set off on a walk and you haven't got the right clothes on, you haven't got enough clothes on. That could really make you very cold. I'm wearing about 4 layers today. I've got my waterproof outer layer, like a mid down layer there, which is nice and warm, a jumper and a thermal t-shirt which is long sleeved underneath. They keep me all nice and warm and they're pretty breathable as well, so when I sweat, the sweat doesn't cool and make me really cold, and that is something you need to avoid in the winter. On my bottoms I've got my trousers and my thermal trousers as well, which keep my legs and bottom really warm. That is my top tip for walking in the winter, to make sure you've got the right clothing. I've also got my scarf and my hat and my gloves and another little hat to hand in case I need to layer up. I'm getting a bit cold. Just stopping for a little break, and another tip would of course be the food and drinks that you bring along the way on your winter walk. For me, I have to bring food that is interesting to eat. A boring soggy sandwich isn't going to do much for me, so I like to bring soup, or you know, like a really delicious pasty or something like that, that's going to keep me fueled and give me lots of energy for the walk. Another thing that I do, which is quite exciting when I'm walking around, is have a hot drink with me in the thermos. But it's not just any hot drink, it's elderflower cordial, because what I found was I'd have tea or coffee, and as I'm walking along, hours from the time that I made it in my house, it would go cold, and lukewarm coffee or tea isn't that satisfying. Whereas if you have cordial, then if it does get cold, then you can still drink it and enjoy it. But most of the time it stays hot and it is delicious. Cheers. Also, just to add to the food and drink tip, I sometimes plan my walks around a pub, which I know might sound particularly British, have a drink along the way. But it also means in the winter you've got a little focus in mind. Maybe after about 3 or 4 miles you might have a stop at a pub, you can have a hot bowl of soup, and then you can crack on with your walk feeling energized. Also, you can have a pub at the end, which means once you've finished a nice long walk, then you finish in a pub and you can warm up by an open fire. It's dropping in temperature now, and I think sunset is about 4:38 today, and it's about 4:15, so I'm cutting it fine, which is unfortunately my style. But I would recommend for you to start early in the day, especially in the winter, because we lose the sun quite early here, sometimes in December. At the earliest, I think it's about 3:30. So you want to start nice and early, and it means that you're not walking in the dark like me. But I do have a torch with me today, so I'm well prepared, and I've only got about a mile or so to go. Almost just slipped down a hill, which is good fun, keeps you on your toes, literally. But that's another important point, and a great tip is to make sure that you have good footwear. I would invest in some good quality walking shoes or walking boots. I prefer ones that cover my ankle, particularly at this time of year where there's a lot of ice underfoot and it can be quite slippery, and you don't want to be slipping over. You could break something. I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but definitely get some good footwear. Someone's locked me in the church. Ah. us, okay? Panic over. It's almost dark now and I'm back in Egerton. I finished my walk, it's about 6 miles. And last tip that I've got for you is if you don't feel that motivated going out and walking in the winter, if it's too cold or you just feel like it's taking you a lot of get up and go, then I advise walking with a group. It's a really good way of ensuring that you're motivated, you get to meet loads of people. And on that note, I organise walks here in Kent. My walking group is called Kent Outdoor Explorers. I'll put in a link in the description below, and come along, you're more than welcome. And it really helps, I think, make sure that you get out on these cold wintry days. I finished my walk now. It was a beautiful 6 mile walk and I'm looking forward to getting inside the pub and warming up by the open fire. Just to recap then, I would advise in the winter to wear good clothing, layer up, and make sure you bring nice food and drinks with you so that you keep warm and energized on the walk. Don't start too late like I do, start nice and early so you've got lots of light. Make sure you wear good footwear so you're not slipping and sliding all over the place. And finally, if it helps motivate you, walk in a group. Thanks a lot for watching today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, click the subscribe button and I will see you on another walk soon.